Good morning, guys. Lillian with Lily Ray's Collection. Today we are going to begin our series of our traveler's notebook, working with a printable for a standard traveler's notebook. And this is my workbook. This is what we're going to be making. And I'm sure it's going to be from 1 through at least 8 or 9 sessions to complete this project. This is the paper line that we are going to be using. You don't have to use this paper line. You could use what you have. This one I like because it is double-sided, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to be using double-sided adhesive tape from scrapbook.com, and this is a 1/4 inch tape. Also, I have here chipboard, as well as cereal box. I wanted to give you 2 views of how to work with this as opposed to the chipboard. I'm going to be using the chipboard, but before we get to that, I want to show you how we can make this cereal box close to as sturdy as this. So I'm going to put this aside, and this is my workbook, as I mentioned. I did want to say before we also started that this is the print that you will receive when you purchase your book, and this is a digital download. If you have a printer, you just go to my Etsy shop and make that purchase and download it. If you do not have a printer, then you can send me a conversation and I will send you that in the mail. So that would be your choice if in fact you do not have a printer. So this is the pattern that you'll be receiving with this purchase. So you'll have this print and also the plain templates. Alright? Okay, so I'm going to put this back here, and then I'm going to take, do I need my 2 pieces? I don't think I need my 2 pieces, but I want to measure. So let me just take these out. Okay, so I'm going to measure it in the back here. The chipboard is just a little shorter. So I'm going to show you how we can also remedy that. We do the same with this, and the reason I want to show you how to use the cereal box item is because I know that, you know, chipboard can be, it's not really expensive, but some people can't afford it. So this is the other option. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, and because I don't want this print to be on the outside, so that when I lay down my cardstock like this, I don't know if this is going to seep through. So instead of worrying about that, this is going to be the side that we're going to be facing down. It'll make sense once I've done it. And then the same thing with this. No print should be facing you. So because this is longer, I'm going to actually use my templates. And I'd like to write on my template on the side that is the top area, because even though this looks even to the eye, it may be off slightly, but when you cut your pieces, you know that this is the top, and somewhere on your piece you'll just put cover so that you know that that's the top. So this way when you place it down, you don't have the bottom portion that's cut on top, and then vice versa with this one, so that it's not off at all. Okay, I hope that's clear. If it's not, you'll see as we continue making this. So let's see if this pencil is dark enough. I don't know if this is dark enough. Okay, so that's that cover. You set that aside. And then my spine, I'm going to leave some room there. And the tape will help to hold that down. So I think I'm going to use a darker pencil. Let's see what my pencils are. Alright, hold on and I'll be right back. Alright, I use this Sharpie. It's an ultra fine point. It doesn't tell me how small it is, but anyway, it's like a 0.7. This is what I used. I traced everything out to save some time, and now I'm going to cut this out with my cheapo cutter. I have my, or should I use my good cutter over there? I just didn't want to lug it over here. This is not too heavy, so I think this is going to be okay. I have a new blade anyway. So I'm going to cut right on top of the line. Not on the side of the line, right on top. Okay? Actually, let me cut this side first, because this way we have a big piece that we can save. And use on another project. Okay, so that's right on top of the line. It cuts just like butter. Making sure you're right on that line. The line is so faint that I could hardly, I hope that my head's not in the way. Okay. And then separate these two right on the line. That's one. Excuse my sniffles. I need more light in this room, but it's so hot under the lights. There's your spine, and you see how I wrote spine there? I don't know if you could see that, but I wrote spine on there, so I know that's going to be my top. And the same thing with my cover. This is my top. Top of the paper. top here. It says cover, sorry, right there, so that I know which end is up. These little pieces I get rid of, and the rest I will save. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, let's see if I could move it along a little bit. This is even thinner. So we're going to piece this portion and this portion. We're going to just piece it together like this. And because this one's raggedy like that, we're going to do it like that. And I'm going to use some glue. I have a little topper here. I used to make jewelry before, and I used a pin, a 3-inch pin with a little head pin, and I just put some beads together, and it keeps your bottle from clogging up. It does create a film, but it's not clogged. Okay. Let's go ahead and put some glue on this. And that's good enough. That's not going to go anywhere. Plus, we're going to be taping everything down. We're going to use some Tyvek. So, we'll set that aside to dry. The same thing with this. This is the top cover. This is the top of the cereal box. And we're going to do it just like that. I think I may need another bottle. So the glue is so available because of the pin. It's not at all clogged. It's bubbled up. Okay, so we're going to try and center this up and down, right to left. Now again, this is for those of you who don't have chipboard. So we're going to set that aside and let that dry. should do it where you guys can see it. Alright, now I'm going to set this aside and let this dry. Once this is dry, I will be back and I'm going to be using my chipboard. Alright, so I will be right back. Alright, so this is all dry, and again, if you're going to be using chipboard, we're going to cut that right out right now. And then this one is these cereal boxes that we put together, which makes it sturdy, just like that chipboard. Okay? Alright, so let's cut out the chipboard and get this project going. Again, I'm cutting right on top of that line. So I want to be able to see my line. Actually, let me do it the other way. This will cut through my chipboard because I've used it before, but it has to be from top to bottom. That cuts right through chipboard. But I need the strength from top to bottom here. Right on that line. Okay. And this is a Fisker's Precision rotary cutter. The blade will last you a lifetime. You never have to replace the blade. It's a self-sharpening blade. Okay, and as you can see, I've put here left cover, spine, and right cover, because we never know how different the cuts are going to be, and everything is handmade. You'll know which direction you've cut it in and which direction it should be set down on. So let's go ahead and move this over. And what do I want to do? I want to... I did not print out my paper. Let me do that and I'll be right back. Alright, I wanted to come back and show you, for those of you who have never worked with printable templates before, you have to cut your paper down to 8.5 by 11. So if it's directional, then you have to make sure you look at that. For me, this would be vertical, as opposed to having the flowers like this. Okay, and this is the bottom of the paper. So what I do first is I cut this piece out, and I save this, and I use this. I put a long strip of tape on this, and I use this as washi tape on any of my projects. Look, you have words there that you can put on a little piece of double-sided mounting tape, and you could use this. Look, kindness comes in many forms, but always from the heart. Those are separate words that you could cut out and use, so don't throw that away. So now this is the bottom of your paper. I did a terrible job cutting it out, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to turn my paper this way. And the first cut that I made, so that you can get a bigger piece as a scrap piece to use, is 8.5. And this is the piece that you're going to be saving. And then by 11. Okay, then you have another piece, and you could make a bow with this. So that's my first cut, and then when it goes into the printer, if you want this side to be printed on, then you're going to put it facing down this way. If this is the side that you want, then you're going to put it down this way. We are going to use, I'm torn between here and here. I really love the flowers, but I really adore that, oh, but see, here's looking at this pattern. If I were to use this, I wouldn't be able to use it because the items, you see, are going down this way. I would have had to have cut it this way for this to be horizontal and not vertical. So we're going to stay with the flowers. Okay, decision made. Same thing with this one. That's beautiful. I love flowers. And look at this decorative edge. Another piece of washi tape. Okay. But that didn't have any words, but okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Let me see something. This is going to be the inside, so it's going to lay like that. I have to do the 8.5 because see these little, these are called a Floridian something or other, but they should be going down. So I'm going to cut it 8.5, right? Because my book is going to open this way. 8.5. By 11. And these are the pieces that you're going to be saving. So now when I print or put my paper in, I want the print to come out on, let me see, it's going to go in. I want the print to come out on the side where my chipboard is going to lay because I want that to be my guide. Okay, so this is the side we're not going to use. This is the side we're going to print on. So if we're printing on this side, we're going to put it in like this in my machine. Everybody's machine is different, so that when it prints like this, and it goes like that, and it prints it on here. Okay, but that's my machine. You have to, you know, check your machine and make sure that you put it on the right side. And then I want the print to be on this side. Okay, let's give it a whirl and see what happens. While this prints, I will be right back. All right, let's continue with putting the cover together. I went ahead and taped all of this. This is my right side, so this one's going to go on here, and I wanted to let you know that this only happens with the cover, I guess, because the cover is almost as big as the paper, so your system kind of shrinks it. And you have two options on your printer. It says shrink to fit and then full page. I selected full page because the shrink to fit will make this template smaller. So only with the cover you should use your templates as we did to trace around so that you have the exact size, the right size, and then you can use this as your guide. And then this is why you don't print it in the front as well. You print it in the back so that it guides you. Okay, so don't panic when you see that. All right. I did it the same way with this shabby chic. This is an exposed edge here. I put ink around these edges because we're going to do the same type of finish. It's not going to have a wrapped edge. This is an exposed edge. Okay, so it does work out, so just take your time with it. And again, the cover is the only one that this happens with. Everything else prints the same. I thought that, see, because here when I printed this out, it's exact. See that? It's exact. So I don't know why on my decorative paper it's printing it smaller. The machine is wacky, but anyway, you can still get the same results. Okay, so just use your templates as a guide for your cover after you print the lines on them to guide you. Okay? All right. So now this should be 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and we're not going to cut this apart. This is going to be one piece. So I'm going to leave it right about there. Close to it, but not on top. Okay, and just look to see that you have about 1/4 of an inch, and then stick it down. All right, so let's do that. Or you could use, the other way to do it is to use your ruler. I'm going to leave and this is for those of you who are not secure with eyeballing. I like to eyeball everything. It's a journal. And then that's going to be your, it's not that difficult, but I don't understand why my printer didn't print it the way it printed my templates. 1/4 of an inch. And once you have the bottom, you don't need to do the top. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to take all this tape out. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable with using the template. The template does work. It's exact. You just have to, you know, just like everything else, tweak a couple of things. And the cover is one of those things that you have to work around. But I still like to print the cover on the sheet as guidelines because the guidelines are straight. And so that is your ruler. I hope you can understand what I'm explaining. Okay. And this is scrapbook.com. These are full sheets of tape that I have. They come in 8.5 by 11 and 6 by 6. I used the 6 by 6 for my last journal that I made, and then this is the 8.5 by 11. So, right, we know that that's the top because it says right. And so we are going to hold it on the edge, and we're going to look for the lines. And remember, you're going to leave the 1/8 of an inch on the spine, and then look for that, for the second line on the bottom there. Just take your time with it. Is that? I think I marked mine wrong, but I'm going to eyeball it then. I went too far up with the 1/8 of an inch, with the 1/4 of an inch. So that's the 1/8 of an inch right there. it's straight. You can see by your line that it's straight, and you drop. And just I always use my bone folder on an angle because I don't want to rough up the paper. And so now that is perfect. Okay. Let me see if this is going to be long enough. Yeah, I'll do this by hand. Okay. So this is the second sheet. We're going to do the same. I've already cut this, but I wanted to show you how to use this because it can get a little tricky. Everything is practice, practice, practice. Okay, so I'm gonna just peel it, grab it on its end, make sure that one side is in, and then just drop. And that's it. Try not to get your fingers into the tape itself because then it becomes a real mess. So let's continue. Let me just burnish this a little bit. It's a lot of tape. But you want your cover to be as secure as can be, especially your corners, since you're going to be roughing up your corners just a little bit. Okay, so left corner, we're going to do the same. And I'm going to eyeball mine. So wish me luck. Oh, jeez. Let me get my arm out of the way. Making sure that that is... I have to stand for this one. That looks about right to me, top to bottom. So we're gonna go with it. Okay. I just want to get this paper out of the way. Oh, I forgot to put the stick in my glue again. Okay, now to protect your paper, because remember this is just paper, and if this has wear and tear from opening and closing, you're going to need something to kind of protect that paper. And there's nothing like Tyvek. And this, when I receive a package, I immediately cut up the Tyvek package. That's what this is from, but they do sell it on Amazon. Okay. This is very crooked. Crooked, crooked. Let's see. I should have cut this before. Just do it on this side. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. So is the top. I'm going to cut it a little more because I don't want it to, let me see something here. Using the wrong one. It's this one. Oh, geez. Okay, so yeah. Cut it just a little bit more. It's okay that it's shorter. We don't want the top and the bottom to show. Right? We want it inside that line there. I'm going to go just a little bit more. That should do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this tie back. You see how it falls short of that? That's what you want. I'm going to put this piece of tape, again, this is the solid piece of scrapbook tape, and it doesn't matter which side it comes off of. You're going to be using both sides anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's why it's double-sided tape. So we're going to go ahead and actually let me put it on this instead. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put tape on that one too. Should I do it on this one? Maybe I could save some tape. Okay, so this way. I'll try and center it as best I can. No worries if it's not centered. Nobody's going to see this. This is just going to be facing down on your book. Okay? So, then we're going to take this. You know what? I'm going to need tape on the side. You could do it one or two ways. You could do it like this. Put the tape on your book or on the tie back. I believe it's easier to put the tape on the book. On your journal cover. Let me use my smaller scissors there. These covers on the inside are going to be filled with tape anyway. Alright, and then the center is going to be captured by here. What I do see, however, is maybe we should put some tape on the top here so that this gets tacked down. And don't worry about the tie back being crooked. Not to worry. It takes a lot of work to create the templates, to put them together, and then to record. You know, everybody's a critic. But those that criticize are not doers. I don't criticize. I'm a doer. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we figure it out. That's just who I am. Okay, so we're going to take these out last. This is the first thing that's going to go down. So this is going to go down like this. Let me just, so that I can have how to pull these. Not burnished enough. Let's try the bottom one. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. Turn my book. I'm still on the top there. And all I'm going to do is try and center this between the cover. Okay? And now you're just going to let it drop. Get inside there. Make sure that you burnish that. Okay. And I think my spine is going to have to be just a little bit smaller because it's not, I didn't leave enough space on the outside, really. Sometimes, you know, I don't even like to use the spine, but I want to because I wanted to have some sturdiness there. Okay, we'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, let's see here. When I made my prototype, I had to cut and paste. I didn't want to cut and paste this cover, so that's why I'm probably having these issues, but as you can see, we're going to figure it out together and your template is going to work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this to fit. So instead of 1 inch, this is going to be 3/4 inch. If you're doing your cover like mine. If you're not going to do your cover like mine, then all you have to do is see if I would have moved it further out, it would have fell exact. But no worries, okay? No worries. I have to cut mine out. I'll be right back. Alright, so your spine should be 1 1/4. Originally it was 1 1/2. With this method of wrapping your chipboard, it should be 1 1/4. Okay? Now I could have left that step out. I could have just scrapped all of this and printed everything out, you know, including my cover, and continued our project, and no one would have been the wiser. But I want to be honest and make sure that you understand that these templates are not infallible, nor am I, and there is a workaround for everything. You just have to take your time and figure things out. But here it is. I've left it recorded for your advantage so that when you use the templates, you have another workaround. Okay? Alright, so let's continue. So I went ahead and taped everything around. And with the 1 1/4, you have the 1/8 of an inch that you need for your spine. This tape is really, really sticky, which is excellent. So you just have to kind of be patient with it. Okay, so again, see how this is not my top? I'm going to turn this, and there is my top. Okay, and I'm just going to eyeball it from here to here and bring it up so that it meets the top, and make sure that I hope my head is not in the way, that I have the 1/8 of an inch that I need to set it down. So I'm going to hold it here and just eyeball it down here. Okay, that looks good. Yep, that looks good. My bone folder fits. Yep. And I'm burnishing this because the one that's coming above it, see this one I was going to go ahead and print my template on it, but there's no need because you don't want that template mark to be here since it's shorter than the actual printables. Okay, so this one you're just gonna lay right on top like that, just like that. Of course, looking at the direction of the paper, and see that is just like that. All right, so let me see something. I think before we lay this down like that, I want to cut this. This is going to be your guide, so you can cut it with your scissors, or you can cut it with your fiskars. Just butt it right up against there and slice. There we go. Again, you can use this for washi. Whoop. There we go. If you, let's see. I hope that this is not too nerve-wracking for the newbies that are on board. Just remember, there's always a workaround for everything. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me. Okay. I'm going to set that aside. Oh, excuse my sniffles. Okay, so now, this is the right side that you want down here. So I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to do mine this way so that I ensure, or try to ensure that it's straight. Okay, look at this. Left this straggler here. So we're going to tape the chipboard. So I'm going to get my 8.5 by 11 tape. See, they come in two sizes, 8.5 by 11 and then the 6 by 6. This is the one that I use for my other project. So I'll take one sheet out, and I'm just going to tape the inside of this. The rest I'm going to be putting tape on. So again, I'm going to eyeball this. It's not a big deal. Whoop. Oh, I pressed too hard there. Here, and just tonight on my pencil here, right there. And here's the piece for the spine. So these are the pieces that we're going to use. Oh, let me set my paper aside so I don't ruin that. Yikes. Okay, so that one's going to go there. This is the hardest when you don't have a lip here. You know what? I think I need my pokey tool. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna do this and get the tape up.